On my first video on removing screens from windows, I made the point that often people break screens because they try and get them out from the wrong side. When it comes to sliding windows, there are certain types of sliding windows that are designed in such a way that the screen actually comes out from the inside, not the outside, and when people take them out on the outside, they bend them and break them. But there are other cases where there are screens on these windows that are actually designed to come out on the outside, and even though people do take them out on the outside, on the correct side, they still break them. And one of the reasons for that is that the tension springs, those flexible bits of rubber that hold the screen in tight, but have enough flexibility for you to, to move the screen to the side and expose the edge in order to get them out. What happens with these tension springs is they often fall to the bottom. So let's see if that's what's happened here. Alright, so I don't know which side the tension spring is on. I've got a feeling it's on this side, or they're on this side. And that's what I'm sort of finding. I can feel that there's flexibility, but it isn't quite enough for me to expose the opposite side of the screen. And so now by pushing the screen up against the window, I can see that there is one tension spring. There's another one here actually. So even though only one of them has fallen down, it's enough. It has enough, causes enough of a blockage. I mean, it's not flexible enough for me to be able to, to expose the opposite side of the screen. So what I will do is I'll use my screwdriver, push it up to where the other one is, so they're both over here, and now I can push that side further in, and I can expose the left side and pull the left side out. And now both of those tension springs have actually fallen to the bottom. The clips there are on the up together, more in the middle of the window, but they haven't really made a big difference. So let's try this one. Or this one I forgot. I've already started taking this one out from the inside. That's a good tip actually with these sorts of screens, especially when you have this sort of situation where the tension springs have fallen to the bottom of the window, and so it's hard to get the screen out and you have to push the tension spring up. It's a lot easier actually to do that from the inside. You can grab your screwdriver, open the window, lift the tension springs up and push that corner of the screen out, or you can just push the corner of the screen out from the outside. Okay, and in a moment I'll show you how to get the screens back in, even though the tension springs, like on that particular case, have fallen to the bottom. Okay, I've now finished cleaning the window and the screen, so the screens are ready to go back in. But before we stick them in, let's take a close look at those tension clips. Okay, let's look at the left side first. If you look on the right, you can see that both tension springs, sorry I didn't mean to say clips, tension springs, they're both fallen to the bottom of the window. The actual clips, which are not quite as flexible, they're sort of, I guess, nearer the top of the window, and they're comfortably there in place. If we turn to the right, we can see that the clips are most of the way, towards the bottom of the window, but not right at the bottom. And the actual tension springs, there's one there about maybe a quarter of the way up the window, and the other one is perhaps a quarter of the way down from the top. And both of those, in contrast to the left side of the window, are comfortably in place. Okay, so the left side is the side where the tension springs have fallen to the bottom of the window, making it more difficult to put the screen in. So I'll have my little screwdriver ready. It's always in my pocket. I'll start by putting the top right of the window in, the top left. Since I've got it on an angle, the top left can go in, so the top of the screen is in, and it's just a matter of getting the bottom in. I've got the bottom right in, but because the tension springs are right at the bottom, and there's both of them are there, it's still very hard for me to push hard enough to get the left side of the screen in. So what I will do is grab my screwdriver and just hold those tension springs up, and that's only, you know, maybe a third of the way up the window. I can let go, I can pull the screwdriver out, but hold those tension springs in that position. That gives me enough flexibility now to get the bottom left side of the screen in. And of course, at any point, I can readjust those tension springs. You know, the best positions are, you know, a third of the way down and 2/3 of the way down. When it comes to the right side of the window, of course, I don't have that issue, so I don't need the screwdriver. All I need to do is put top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. And there you are, there you have it.